Ooh, that's good.
Hey.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. It is super, super cold. And we are here to do the morning show.
It's time for the morning show.
We, this week, have a little bit bigger screen. I brought my personal tablet from home. It's not much bigger.
I thought it was Corey's cell phone.
Hopefully we can read comments. So if you see me doing this a few times today, it's just testing things out, seeing what we can do now. It's got a few more options. I don't know.
And we're live and all alone.
Yeah.
Are we live?
I guess it says live up here in the top. We'll see. We'll see. You know what we can do?
What?
Because we got time to kill. We always do a little bit of time here in the beginning.
Look at this.
We can see.
But I still love technology.
This is on mine, so you should probably do it on yours.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we will see what it looks like on there. Oh, it says two.
Oh,
now.
we got. Oh, hey.
Perfect.
Oh, everybody's here. Yay.
Yeah,
The
and
whole
they send
gang.
hearts. Good morning, Heather and Erica.
Hello.
We this morning thought that we should talk a little bit about some cold weather conditions. So that's today. Tune in later for that. And tune in now and just
Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
But we will get started with some topics. It's cold. If you have not checked the weather, has been consistently in the teens or below here in Spruce Pine.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad.
It's been pretty bad. Ryan and I went on a little morning jog yesterday morning in, I believe it was 14-degree weather.
I still don't understand how I allowed you to talk me into running in 14-degree weather. But, I will say this. After it was all said and done, I felt very accomplished.
Yeah. And I'm persuasive.
And I had a sore throat for the rest of the day. So there you
Word
go.
of warning. If you listen to this, I'm going to talk you into doing something today. All the viewers.
Get out there and go running.
Go running.
Get yourself a sore throat.
Or come buy something.
Or run right into Burleson's and buy something.
So it's cold. It's freezing. But we are in here. We're here to try to help people. There is a lot of no water calls this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of people struggling right now.
We were closed Monday for New Year's. Tuesday morning we had, I believe, 33 no waters. We were at 25 yesterday. It just keeps coming in and out. We do as many as we can. On a day like today, though, if a pipe is frozen, it's probably going to stay that way throughout the day.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, if you call in, if you've got some frozen pipes, we're more than willing to try to help in situations. But a lot of them lately have been, we go thaw it out, and it probably will freeze back unless you can do some drastic insulating, heating, or something.
Yeah. Get some kind of heat source on it.
So, just to let you guys know, that's what's going on with us. We have a lot of people calling in with heating issues, plumbing issues. If you've got any of that going on, give us a call. We'll help. We're going to go ahead and let you guys know why we do these videos. If you are new tuning in with us, we do these videos to let you guys as homeowners, if you're living in a home, whether you rent it or own it, you probably have a lot of things you don't know about that home. You buy a cell phone, you buy a car, you spend the money on those things, which is a good amount of money. You get an owner's manual, you get an how-to, and you can go online, you can read up on that car, what it's going to tell you, emergency lights, these little signals that happen, Bluetooth, tons of stuff. You have the owner's manual. With a home, you don't get a owner's manual. You can look up online, you can try to Google things, you can ask questions, ask your parents usually, things of that nature. But for the most part, people don't know. So we're just here for you to be able to ask questions. Specifically going on burlesonplumbing.com/QA for question and answer, and ask those questions. And just to sweeten the pot a little bit, we are giving away a faucet and giving away a Wi-Fi thermostat. We are actually giving away the faucet next week, so make sure you get your questions in this week if you might want a new kitchen faucet. And we're talking about maybe If the person wants to, they can join us on the show
Hey.
when they get their faucet.
Special guest.
So we're excited about that. But we do want you to ask the questions so that we can answer those questions. We do it all the time here at the counter, but we realize there's a lot of people that may not live around here. They may not be comfortable coming in and asking.
Yeah.
But you can do it from the privacy of your own home. Just go ask the questions on the website, and we'll get them answered on here.
Because in terms of home ownership, I've found that many times it's not until something goes wrong that you even acknowledge the fact that it exists. As long as everything's running fine, all is well, everything is good. But then something breaks, and then it kind of unravels into this whole mess. So hopefully this show will help you maybe be able to address some of those issues, so you're not stuck in the middle of the night with some kind of situation that is not great to be in because you just didn't know. So that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, and right now we have a lot of people with those issues.
Yes.
So we'll talk about some of that today on the show. We do want to let you guys know about a new segment that we started last week called "Hey, that's neat."
Hey, look at that! That's real neat.
So Ryan, what do we have this morning?
This morning we have something that's real neat.
It is really neat. I'm excited about this. I've got these in my home.
I'll let you explain this
Okay.
since you know so much about it.
I know a little more just because I've installed a few of these in my house. Those of you who have can lighting or want can lighting, can lighting that's in your ceiling. A lot of times
Really
people are
sets the
putting them in a
atmosphere.
kitchen. It looks like a recessed can up in your ceiling. Those lights let out a lot of heat. If you don't know that, you probably should.
Yeah, go stand under one.
There's not a lot of insulation that you can put on top of those. They go up into your attic space a good ways, and you're losing heat there more than likely. We have a system. We go and suck all the air out of people's homes. We have an infrared camera, and we look at those, and the can lights are a big culprit of where you lose heat or cooling in your home. This is an alternative, and it actually uses less energy as well because it is LED. You don't have to have a recessed can. You can just put a regular box in. This is a very quick fix for any electricians. If you know how to do some electrical, you could do this yourself. If not, you're going to save money because your electrician is going to spend a lot less time on it.
Yeah.
They run one wire over to the box. They put in a ceiling box that doesn't even have to hold weight because these are so lightweight. And this is how they work. It's just got a little LED board with your lights, and it puts out really good light. I can vouch for that. And they literally just wire it in. There's no extra wiring or anything you don't know about. It's got your weatherproof foam piece there,
Very nice.
so that you can put it in a shower. You can put it in a space that's going to be damp, and then you literally just wire it in and mount it to your box with screws, and then put your cover back on, and it is done. So they're dimmable, they're waterproof, a very, very good option. These are priced at I think around $25, $29,
Wow.
something like
That's
that,
a
depending
great
if you're a contractor or not.
Great deal.
So that's neat.
You know what? Hey, that's neat.
That is neat.
That is real neat.
That is neat. So come by and check those out. We've got them right at the counter. Sean and Colton can show them to you. Anybody else that's there.
Erica, I'll send you some.
Yeah, we'll get you some, Erica. So let's dig into some questions. First, our pen for today. And
What a nice pen.
It is a really nice pen. I wanted to let everyone know who our pen sponsor for the day was, and that is Claudia's Taco Truck.
Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia.
Delicious tacos.
Gracia. Gracias. Gracias.
I think we should probably work on our Spanish.
Yeah. Muy
Bien.
thankful.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm really good at Spanish. Also, I'm going to give you guys a little disclaimer on what we cover today, just so you know. Everything we suggest and recommend is simply that. We want everyone to be educated on how things work, but not how to work on technical things. We always recommend hiring a licensed service professional where risk is involved. Burleson Plumbing and Heating and its employees are not responsible for injury, damages, or loss related to you, your property, or your home.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Be smart.
So, let's talk about some cold weather topics.
Okay.
This is not one of the questions that was asked specifically on the website, but this is a question that we're getting on the phone. Questions we're getting on the phone from both our HVAC department and plumbing department regularly right now.
Yeah.
So yesterday and today, I kind of interviewed our HVAC managers and our plumbing manager, who are taking calls nonstop this week.
Yes.
And just ask them, what are people asking? What are the questions you're answering constantly, and how can we give that to people on the morning show and on the video? So in the HVAC department, the big things that people are talking about right now, if they have a heat pumps are super efficient. They're very good at heating a home until it gets down to certain degrees, and most of you probably are realizing that. When the manufacturers say at 32, you start losing efficiency.
Okay.
Our HVAC department usually tells people, really, you'll feel that around 16 degrees, which we're at. We're there.
Yeah,
We've been there.
We're right in it.
So you guys right now are probably starting to feel that your heat pump's not satisfying the heat that you want it to. Two things that you can easily do right now. One is change your air filters. If you have an air filter you haven't changed in a little while, even if it's got a little bit of dust, right now I would go ahead and get that thing changed. That's going to allow airflow through your heat pump and allow it to heat more efficiently. It'll help it out. The second thing you can do is turn on your emergency heat. A lot of people don't know. You can go to your thermostat, you can click emergency heat, and there's heat, cool, and then emergency heat. Auxiliary heat might be on there. Change it to emergency heat or auxiliary heat. That kicks on an electric heat strip that will heat more efficiently. It's supposed to do that automatically, but it may not have. So check that. Other than that, more of a short-term option would be to get some electric heaters. We have some here. We've actually sold out of most of our electric. We got more coming in next Tuesday. But just getting a small electric quartz heater, I think people call them now. It's just a small electric heater. You can get those for 80 to 100 bucks. Some are nicer, like 200. And just plug it in. You're going to use more power. I will warn you, you're sucking some power, but it will offset that heat. Close some doors that you're not using that don't have plumbing in them. I wouldn't close your bathroom door.
Yeah.
But if you've got a spare bedroom that doesn't have plumbing in it, go ahead and shut that door up, and that way whatever you are trying to heat isn't working as hard.
Yeah.
And then long term, you may think about give us a call. We can put in a dual fuel system. For you, those of you who don't know what that means, it's attaching to your heat pump a oil furnace, gas furnace, maybe a wood stove if you have that, or if you like that option, and tying that into your system so that you have another form of heat when it drops down to these cold temperatures.
Yeah.
With the oil furnace and the gas furnace, we can attach that into your thermostat, and right when that temperature gets to where your heat pump can't satisfy it, automatically it's going to kick on and then make up for that heat.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty awesome. Great option.
I believe you've got a...
Mine's set up that way. I haven't set the outside unit yet, but yeah, essentially there's a sensor that they put outside that's tied into the thermostat. So however the technician sets the temperature range to tell the auxiliary heat or the gas furnace to kick on, the heat pump shuts off, the gas furnace kicks on. It's pretty slick.
And then as far as thinking on your HVAC, you really need to try to see if you can, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when it got cold the first time, getting a tube of caulk, some insulation, and insulating things is your best bet. Airflow is a killer. So around your doors, around your windows, around your registers on the floor, ceiling, around your light switches and receptacles when you take the cover off, getting some caulk around those just so that air can't get in is a really good idea.
Makes a big difference.
And if you go down to your basement, I went to a basement yesterday actually. If you go down to a basement, you look up and you can see the floor. It's just wood, no insulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably not a good thing. All that cold air in the basement of the crawl space is just sucking your hot air out of your house, basically. So look at that, and you might want to invest in getting some insulation put in the floor or the attic of your house, and that's going to help tremendously. You would not believe how much that does help. Now, let's switch over to plumbing.
Okay.
Big issue right now is frozen pipes. That's what we keep hearing over and over and over again. When it gets this cold, this many days in a row, pipes will freeze. Just to let you know, I'm not being sarcastic. I get this question every time it gets cold. Everybody says, well, what temperature has it got to get down to for water to freeze? That sounds elementary.
Any guesses?
But anybody want to comment? It is 32 degrees. 32 degrees, if your water gets down to that temperature, it's going to freeze.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
And a lot of people, I think, are asking that question because they think it has to get an outside temperature colder than that for their inside not to be able to heat their pipes or whatever. I understand the question, that they're looking at it from that way. But the main idea is to keep anything that's got water in it above that 32. Crawl spaces are a problem area. Well heads, if you haven't replaced the insulation in the head of your well, where your fake rock is, your concrete, some people hide that in different ways. Definitely replace the insulation.
Yeah.
We sell it. You can, for $10, you can get a new blanket of insulation. Take off the cap, put that new blanket over it. It needs to be replaced so that it stays dry. It'll get wet over time, break down over time.
Yeah.
So other than that, we tell everybody to leave your faucets running. If that water keeps moving, it's really hard for it to freeze up. That doesn't mean leave it wide open. You're going to run your well dry doing that.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
But it also doesn't mean a drip. A small drip, a lot of times doesn't take care of the issue. It's not allowing enough water flow. So I would go to your faucets and leave a trickle when it's this cold. Leave a trickle in all of your faucets. It's probably a better word. A trickle.
Trickle.
Like a sliver. I don't know what the best word is.
Sliver.
But
water.
Just enough to keep it flowing. And do that at multiple faucets. I usually tell people to do it in the furthest bathroom when it's getting below freezing. But once it's this temperature, it's probably a good idea to just go to all of them, open them up, if you've got that concern. A lot of people have a basement. All their pipes are insulated in the basement. They don't really have areas where it's going to freeze up. So they're not as worried about it. But
sure. If you have a trailer, a mobile home, a crawl space, any of those type situations, that is definitely when you're most susceptible. Especially if your underpinning is open, there's any spots or spaces. The wind is great for getting into those places and freezing your pipes. And another thing to be mindful of, if you're leaving a faucet on, the adverse effect to that is potentially your drain to freeze.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to be mindful if your faucet's running. That's great on the incoming side, but if the drain freezes, you're going to have a backup issue. So you kind of need to keep an eye on your drainage as well and make sure your sinks don't start filling up.
So don't leave a trickle or a sliver.
That's right.
And go to sleep.
Yeah.
And not check it periodically through the night.
Not a good idea. You'll have a flood if your drain freezes up.
Probably the biggest problem with freezing pipes is airflow. Same thing with HVAC that we just talked about. If you've got an underpinning trailer, anything with a crawl space, a basement that is not insulated well, you got a basement with a garage door or something, and that garage door is not sealed up. The thing you need to think about is to seal that up at some point, because that airflow is your problem. That's where your cold air is continually coming in. And an underpinning, it's really hard to fix. I mean, you're going to have a project of re-underpinning everything and insulating everything, insulating your pipes. In a crawl space, you need to make sure your plumbing pipes are insulated.
Yeah.
And then in a basement situation, you can insulate your pipes, but the big thing is just making sure in a basement that you don't have the airflow coming in. Go turn your lights off in your basement in the daytime. Look and see where light's coming in, and that's usually a telltale sign of
indication
where you need to go.
And the whole thing we're talking about here, preparation is the key. It's when we get into situations, and we don't know, it's all of a sudden we get this cold snap and it's sub-zero temperatures. But in the fall, it is a great time to address a lot of these issues. Yeah. So if you got problems with your underpinning, or you know that you have pipes that aren't insulated, when it's September and October and it's still warm-ish outside, that's the time to address these issues, so you're not outside, having to dress like the abominable snowman to try to fix these problems.
Right. Which some of you maybe think that's not real helpful right now,
Yeah.
but we're on that topic right now. That's
Yes.
what everybody's asking about.
Yes.
Getting pipes insulated, getting things like that fixed when it's not cold is ideal for sure. So
The best.
make some notes for yourself. Set a reminder on your phone. Say, remind me this summer, this fall, to get those things done.
Make yourself like a winter checklist.
Yeah. Last thing that our plumbing department talked about is if you're going to be leaving your home for an extended period of time, a day or two, a week, whatever, and you want to leave your heat on, a lot of people set their thermostat down to like 50. They think, okay, that's not freezing, but I'm saving money because I'm not heating a home I'm not in. The problem with that is if your system goes through a cycle where it's defrosting, which happens. A lot of people hear this like gasping sound out of their heat pump, especially when it's this cold.
Yeah.
That's it switching into a defrost mode. It has to do that periodically, especially when it's working really hard. If you set your thermostat down to a 50 and it goes into defrost mode, that it's not heating during that time. You have that much time for it to drop down, and you're that much closer to 32.
Yeah.
So what we recommend, especially when it's this cold, is it's leaving at 60, 65, and don't drop it too low. And that way, if it goes through that defrost cycle, you have a bigger window before it reaches those freezing conditions. That's the last thing I have. If you guys have other questions, please leave them in the comments on freezing, heating, things of that nature, and we will answer them later today.
Okay.
Throughout the week, ask them whenever you want to. We'll answer them. The question for the week comes from Lacey, and Lacey had a really, really good question. I'm going to let Ryan answer it. She asked, what is the best water heater, tankless versus traditional, with upfront cost and energy savings?
Fantastic question, Lacey. And this is a question that we get all the time on a regular basis to deal with. There are a few things that I initially ask folks right off the bat as it pertains to your traditional water heater, whether it's electric or gas, and a tankless water heater. The concept of a tankless water heater is amazing. It really is. It's great technology. It's a good use of resources. You're not burning fuel when you don't need to be burning fuel. The only problem is, and this is what I tell people a lot, if you have, let's say, teenagers in your home, and they figure out that there is an endless supply of hot water, then shower times can extend a little bit. So maybe you go from a 10 or 15 minute shower to a 45-minute shower. Yeah. So a lot of times with a tankless water heater, though they are extremely efficient and they're only burning gas when there's a demand for hot water, if the demand for hot water is longer than you're burning more gas, you're not necessarily going to reap the benefits of that efficiency.
I've heard a lot of dads have the fix for that.
There is
install a cutoff valve on your hotline
works
before
great.
the shower. Just go down to the basement, and once you hit that timer, your teenager, maybe a wife, not mine, she would never do that.
No.
She is watching. You cut that hot water off, guaranteed they'll probably get out.
They'll get out.
Yeah.
And probably be yelling at the same time. So upfront cost for a tankless water heater is substantially more than a 40-gallon electric water heater. You're probably looking at about anywhere from 2.5 to 3 times the cost by the time you factor in the gas line, installation, and then the product itself. So there is a substantial upfront cost to a tankless water heater. But over a 15-year span, if you use it correctly, then you can definitely reap those benefits and see some return on your investment. You're not going to see that return in a year. It's going to be over a span of time. So that's something you have to take into consideration. The upfront cost of installation, the way that they need to be installed, is typically on an outside wall so that they can vent very easily through the wall to the outside. If it's in the middle of the house, it definitely makes it more difficult to install a tankless water heater. You typically have to penetrate through the ceiling and then up through the roof, and it adds to the overall installation cost. A lot of times with a tankless water heater, most of them are that we sell are going to be 199,000 BTUs, and so that's a lot of BTUs for such a small little apparatus. So what happens is, as soon as there's a demand for hot water, you turn on the hot water at a faucet, it senses that and says, okay, we need to supply hot water. So based upon how fast or how much flow is going through it, it fires up at 199,000 BTUs. That's burning some fuel, like right out the gate. So it heats the water up. It begins to sense, okay, we're fulfilling our demand, and it will begin to modulate back down to a more efficient place. But in order to accommodate 199,000 BTUs, you have to have the right sizing of gas line to the unit.
Right.
So that's another added cost, and you got to make sure that your propane tank can handle it. Your current, if you have a current gas line, that it's big enough to facilitate another fixture, and especially one that demands so much gas or possibly demands so much gas. So at the end of the day, the electric water heater now is more efficient than they were 10 years ago. The government's put new demands on them. The insulation in them is thicker. Upfront cost for a 40-gallon water heater is pretty nominal comparatively to a tankless. So from my opinion, and to answer your question, it really depends, Lacey, and everybody else, it depends on your situation, whether a tankless water heater is going to be right for you or whether just a conventional water heater is. And we try to be very honest and upfront. For us, it's not all about, hey, let's sell the most expensive thing we can sell. We want you to be happy. I don't want people to come back in a month and say, I thought you said this was the best thing out. I thought you said this was the most efficient thing out. So we ask some questions that give us the right answers so we know how to steer you in the right direction and not just make some big sale. So I'm a big fan of tankless water heaters in the right situation.
Now, as far as a tank style, or what she calls a traditional, the upfront cost is going to be much less expensive. And for that reason, we sell, 100, maybe 100 to 1 tanks
I would
to
say
tankless. A lot of people are used to that. That's what they know. But for the big purpose, it is the price tag of each one of them. The thing about a tank that most people don't know that I think is important to know, a tank is what you think when you hear of a tank water heater. It is a tank of water with usually, could be one element, but two elements. Those elements have electricity running to them that go into the tank, and electricity causes those elements to heat, and it heats your water up.
Yeah.
Each one of those elements has a thermostat so that it knows what the temperature is and kicks on when that temperature gets down below a certain degree. It kicks on and brings that temperature back up. So the issue with that is that all day, right now, if you have a tankless water heater and you're not home, or you are home, and you're not using any hot water, more than likely your tank is using electricity.
It is.
Mine right now at home is in the basement, and you go right now in my basement, it's pretty cold. So the outside temperature around in the basement around that water heater is sucking the heat away from the water heater. The water heater senses that it's getting colder, and then it heats back up. And even in the summertime, it will drift below that temperature and it'll heat. So all day you're using electricity. That's probably one of the most, the biggest usage of electricity in your home is going to be coming from your water heater or heat pump, something of that nature. But your water heater, because all day it's working. So you need to know that just so that you can say, okay, well, I'm more concerned about the long-term energy cost and then maybe looking at a tankless. Also, the fact that with a tank-style water heater, it's more of a heavy usage because it's working all day, every day. You may not get more of a life out of it.
That's right.
So if we're talking about life, what can people do to extend the life of both a tankless and a tank-style water heater if they want to get the most life out of that water heater?
Sure. With a tankless water heater, they make a descaling kit and yearly, depending on your water and how good or how bad it is, aggressively to minerals and things like that. They have a descaling kit that you can connect to the tankless water heater, run the descaler through it, and it helps to clear out the heat exchanger and make sure that it's running optimally, is what you're looking for.
If anybody's had a fish aquarium,
yeah,
and they don't clean it, and it just gets that scale and build up, that's probably the best visual
that's a great analogy
that you can get of like a water system and what it's going to do inside that.
Yes, absolutely.
Even though you don't have fish in it, it's working.
I hope you don't have fish in it.
It could be.
You know, hey, maybe you do. So that's kind of what you're looking at in order to maintain a tankless water heater. There are sometimes, depending on how it's drawing air, if it's drawing air from an enclosed area or inside of a room, then occasionally you may have to check and make sure there's not dust collecting in the intake part of it, because there again it requires air to do its job. So if it's collecting dust, you may have to occasionally clean that out. And they're very advanced technologically, so it'll throw a error code if something goes wrong with it, and kind of lets the technician know exactly what's going on. But commonly it's going to be an air issue. There's dust that it can't breathe, or let's say it needs to be descaled or something like that. With a tanked style water heater, nobody ever does this, but it is a good idea to yearly shut off the water, or even leave the water on, connect a hose to it, run it to a floor drain somewhere, and blow out all the junk, the sediment, the things that collect at the bottom of it, just to kind of rinse it out and make sure that it's not collecting a massive amount of sediment and just scale and things like that. So that is one way that you can kind of maintain both your tanked and tankless water heater.
Our plumbers come in all the time because somebody wants us to change an element, fix the water heater in some way, or just change out a water heater, get a new water heater. And our technicians have a hard time sometimes because the water heater has collected so much sediment in the bottom that the drain plug at the bottom won't allow water out because there's so much dirt, sediment in there. Yeah. So that's why it's another good reason just to get it. That shows you really need to wash it out at least every other year, I would say. And that's a service we offer if you want us to descale your tankless, or if you want us to come out and rinse out, flush, and put vinegar, which will get rid of all those smells and odors, in a tank style water heater. We do that, so just call us, call our plumbing department, and we can do that. This time of year, right after these freezing, it slows down a lot for us, so it's a good time to think about servicing your water heaters, your heat pumps, oil furnaces, things like that you may have forgot to do or haven't done. It's a really good time of year, especially February, March, to do those things. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Thank you, Lacey, for that question.
Yes, hopefully that helps.
Really good one, and I hope you win the faucet. We're giving away the faucet next week, so any questions you have, go ask now. Get on.
We need more questions
this week. All you literally do is punch in your name, email, and I think your location. I think your phone number, so we can call you and let you know if you want.
Angie, get in there and ask us a question.
Ask a question. If you want to know something about your toilet, your heating, your insulation, your electric system in your home, anything about your home you want to know. It might even be something that we don't even know, but we'll try to figure it out.
Best restaurants in Asheville. We'll give it our best shot.
Don't get him started on that. But we thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
We will be here 9 a.m. next week, and we'll answer some questions and announce who won the kitchen faucet.
Fantastic.
burlesonplumbing.com/QA has all of our videos. We have a YouTube channel attached to the website, so you can look at the past videos and ask questions right on that page.
Yeah. And if you will, please help us. We would love to see this continue to grow and continue just to be a great resource for our community. So we ask that you would tell your friends and your family about 9 a.m. on Friday mornings about our morning show. Direct them to our Facebook page. Give us a like, share the information, share the link even after it's already done, if you wouldn't mind, to help us out with that, to get the word out. We're trying to reach as many people as possible. So if you enjoy this and you see any value in it, please help us get the word out. That would be awesome. We'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Have a good, safe weekend.
Yes.
Stay warm.
Stay toasty.
It's supposed to warm up next week. A heat wave.
A heat wave. It's going to be 25.
25
Woo!
degrees. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Okay. Okay.
Lemur. Llama.
What does it do here?
I don't know. It's definitely not finishing.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye again.
Bye. Hey.
Oh. All right.
Psych, we're not done.
Not done. We're just going to take it here. We're going to say hey to Lemur and Dingo. And, oh, there we go. I think that'll do it.